Chosen one. You are not here by accident. Heaven scheduled this moment long before you pressed play. You have been drawn into a divine intersection, the exact second where revelation meets readiness. What you're about to hear is not mere knowledge. It's a spiritual activation. The winds have shifted. The atmosphere around you is heavy with purpose. You are standing at the threshold of a supernatural transformation that could unfold today, tonight, or in the coming hours. This is your appointed time, your kairos moment. As it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, "The vision is for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it will surely come and will not delay." That time is now. Heaven is speaking in symbols, in movements, in whispers of creation itself, and only those who are awake in spirit will recognize the language. Anointed one, open your heart. Quiet your surroundings. This message is not random. It's a divine alert sent to align you, to protect you, and to prepare you. The appointed hour has arrived. The veil is thinning. Listen closely, for what you are about to hear will open your eyes to the signs God has been sending all along. Chosen one. What you're about to hear is not coincidence, it's confirmation. Heaven has been whispering to you in symbols, in dreams, in the quiet movements of the world around you. You have felt it, haven't you? That subtle stirring in your spirit, the sense that something unseen is shifting in your favor. You are not imagining it. The winds of divine order are moving again, and this time they have come for you. You are standing at the edge of a supernatural, unfolding, the kind of season where everything that once felt uncertain begins to make sense. Heaven has been preparing you in silence, teaching you to hear without sound and to see without sight. You are being initiated into divine awareness, the kind that only those who are truly chosen can carry. This message is not for the curious. It's for the called. It's for the anointed one who has been through too many fires to mistake coincidence for calling. Every battle, every rejection, every delay, all of it was holy choreography. You were being trained, refined and aligned for this exact moment. Listen closely, chosen one. God never leaves his elect unaware. Before every attack, before every breakthrough, before every divine transfer, he sends signals, sacred messengers in living form. Sometimes it's through the people around you, and sometimes through his creation itself. The world calls it instinct. Heaven calls it intelligence. Creation listens to the voice of its creator. The creatures of this earth move at his command, not randomly, but prophetically. They become living parables for those who have ears to hear. And when heaven begins to use creation to warn or prepare you, it means your life has entered divine timing. This is your kairos moment, that window of spiritual opportunity when heaven aligns with earth and destiny begins to unfold. Anointed one, your discernment is being awakened. You are no longer walking in confusion. You are walking in awareness. Heaven is teaching you to read the language of signs, not for superstition, but for revelation. The divine is breaking into your daily life through what others overlook. A bird that circles too long, a dog that stares into nothing, a sudden restlessness that seems to come out of nowhere. These are not random. They are messages coded in creation, sent to those who walk in covenant. You are about to see the unseen. You are about to understand what your spirit has been sensing all along. The fog that once clouded your perception is lifting. Where others see coincidence, you will see confirmation. Where others dismiss signs, you will discern instruction. And let me tell you this from my own walk. There were seasons when I ignored the small nudges. Times when I felt unease in my spirit, but brushed it off as imagination. Every time I did, I paid a price. I learned that discernment is not a luxury, it's a form of protection. God doesn't just want to bless you, chosen one. He wants to preserve you for the blessing. That's why he warns before he releases. This is what this word is about. The 7 creatures that heaven uses as divine alarms, each one carrying a vibration, a frequency that cuts through the noise of this world to reach your awareness. They do not simply pass by, they interrupt your path, because heaven refuses to let you walk into danger unaware. Listen carefully. Once you understand this language, you will never walk blind again. You will move with divine precision. You will step where you are meant to step. And when storms form in the unseen, you will already be standing in safety. Chosen one, this is not entertainment. This is an impartation. If you feel this word burning in your spirit right now, pause for a moment and acknowledge it. Say quietly, I receive divine awareness, because what is about to unfold in this message could alter not only how you see the world, but how the world sees you. The signs are everywhere, but not everyone has the eyes to notice. You do. That is why heaven brought you here, to awaken your prophetic vision, to sharpen your spiritual reflex, and to remind you that God is always speaking, even through what others call ordinary. So before we go further, take a breath. Center yourself. This is not just information. This is alignment. You are being called into deeper awareness. Heaven is positioning you for protection, promotion, and purpose. Now let us begin unveiling the first messenger, the one that walks between shadow and light, the creature that survived the storm and carries the eyes of discernment. The first sign sent to the chosen ones is the raven. When you're ready, I will reveal what the raven truly means for you and why its appearance marks the beginning of a supernatural unveiling. Chosen one. The raven comes first because it moves where others are afraid to fly. It travels between worlds, light and shadow, known and unknown. It does not carry superstition, it carries sight. When the raven enters your path, it is not bringing darkness, it is revealing it. Heaven is saying, look again. I remember a time in my own journey when everything around me seemed right. The doors were opening, the opportunities looked promising, and the people near me appeared kind. Yet deep in my spirit, there was a stirring, subtle, but insistent. I didn't understand it then, but now I know that was the raven hovering above my life, warning me that not every open door is divine. Within weeks, what looked like blessing turned to betrayal, and I finally understood that discernment is God's mercy in disguise. Chosen one, when a raven crosses your path or calls in the distance, pay attention. The air shifts because heaven is near. The raven sees what you cannot deceit, wrapped in beauty, temptation, dressed as opportunity. It is God's messenger, whispering that not all alliances are holy, and not every voice that praises you carries truth. The raven's presence is not an omen of fear. It is foresight, divine intelligence protecting your destiny. You may see it more than once, landing near your window, staring with unsettling stillness following your walk. That repetition is not random. It is heaven repeating the signal until you listen. The raven appears when a mask is about to fall, when flattery hides envy, or when the wrong energy tries to blend in as friend. In those moments, do not react in paranoia. Respond in discernment. Pray quietly, Lord, open my eyes. Then wait. The truth will soon reveal itself. The raven moves in silence, but its silence speaks loudly in the spirit. It does not accuse, it confirms. Its arrival means your discernment is awakening and your spirit is maturing. You no longer see people and moments through emotion but through revelation. This is how God raises his chosen not to be suspicious, but to be spiritually sharp. In ancient times, prophets looked to the skies for warnings. They watched the flight of birds as a form of divine communication. That same prophetic instinct still exists buried in the soul of every chosen one. When you feel unease around a person, when peace leaves a room as soon as someone enters, when your spirit whispers something isn't right, that's the raven speaking inside you. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Heaven will never let you be blindsided if you are listening. The raven comes before betrayal. It appears before deception strikes. It warns before the knife is drawn. Its black feathers represent mystery, not malice, protection, not punishment. You are being invited to trust what you sense before you see it. And when you see the raven again, do not fear its shadow. Its shadow is your shield. It comes to awaken you, to remind you that your spiritual eyes were never meant to stay closed. The raven teaches that sometimes the greatest weapon isn't to fight, it's to perceive, to pause, to let revelation rise before reaction. So, chosen one. The next time the raven appears, whether in waking life, dream, or vision, remember you are being protected, not haunted. Something around you is being revealed. Stay still. Stay alert. Heaven is already moving to uncover what your heart has been questioning. Revelation is in motion. Chosen one. The second messenger God sends is one humanity has always loved, but rarely understood: the dog. To the natural eye, it's a loyal companion. But to those walking under divine assignment, it is a guardian of atmosphere, a spiritual sentinel placed at the threshold between worlds. The dog doesn't just bark, it discerns. It doesn't just guard your home, it guards your destiny. When your dog suddenly howls at nothing, stares into corners where no one stands, or becomes restless in the quiet of the night, do not dismiss it. The dog is responding to shifts in the unseen frequencies that only the spiritually attuned can sense. I remember once, during a season of deep warfare in my life, confusion, exhaustion, betrayals coming from hidden places. Every night around the same hour, my dog would rise bark toward the hallway, then sit in front of my door, refusing to move. At first, I thought it was coincidence. But then one night as I prayed, I felt it, the energy in the room change. The dog was not afraid. It was standing in intercession. It was heaven's way of saying, you are covered, chosen. One understand this: when darkness moves, heaven sends its watchers. Sometimes they wear feathers, sometimes fur. The dog is one of God's oldest agents of discernment, sensitive to vibration, loyal to light. It hears what you cannot and reacts before danger becomes visible. When a dog howls without cause, it may be announcing that heaven's guardians are already at work, deflecting what was meant to harm you. The world calls it instinct. The wise call it alignment. When your dog refuses to go near a certain person, when it growls at a visitor you thought you trusted, pay attention. Its spirit is responding to what your natural mind cannot yet interpret. There are energies that look friendly but carry corruption, smiles that hide manipulation. The dog senses it first because it listens with the heart of heaven. Chosen one. Even the ordinary is supernatural when you belong to God. The dog in your home, the one you see on the street that suddenly follows or stares, can be a living reminder that the unseen is aware of you. It is God's way of saying, I have stationed protection at your gate. So, when your protector becomes restless, do not fear, discern. Pray peace over your dwelling. Declare, no weapon formed shall prosper. The dog's bark is not chaos, it's communication. Heaven uses noise to expose what darkness hoped to enter in silence. And here is something deeper. Sometimes the dog's behavior reflects your spirit. When you are carrying worry, it senses it. When your energy is heavy, it moves closer, not away. The dog knows when the anointed one is under pressure. Its nearness is not pity, it's participation. It is standing guard while your spirit recovers. There is covenant in that companionship. For those chosen by God, even creation responds differently. The bond between you and your guardian is more than affection, it's assignment. They are drawn to the oil you carry, to the presence that surrounds you. That's why they sleep near your feet, why they sit near the door when you pray. Chosen one. When a dog barks into the night, don't rush to silence it. Whisper gratitude instead. Heaven's alarm has sounded, and the unseen is being restrained. God has placed intercessors in the physical realm, creatures that partner with the divine to protect what's holy in you. The next time your dog acts strange, remember this: you are not alone. Even the creation around you recognizes your assignment. While you sleep, guardians stand watch. While you move through uncertainty, heaven moves through them. You are surrounded by divine intelligence, visible and invisible. So stay calm, stay covered. The same God who commands angels also commands creation. And if even a dog defends your light, imagine what heaven itself is doing on your behalf right now. Chosen one. The third messenger is the owl, the prophet of the dark, the creature that rules the silence others fear. The owl does not flee from the night, it thrives within it. When all else grows quiet, when the world is asleep, and even your prayers feel unanswered, that is when the owl begins to speak. The owl carries what I call the eyes of heaven. It sees what others deny. Its wings slice through the darkness, guided by wisdom older than time. When you encounter an owl, whether in a dream, an image that keeps returning, or an actual visitation, know this revelation is near. Heaven is preparing to uncover what has been hidden. There was a time when I prayed for truth, but wasn't ready for it. I asked God to reveal what was real, and within days things began to fall apart. Friendships dissolved, hidden motives surfaced. I thought I was losing everything, but in truth, I was being delivered. That is the ministry of the owl: exposure disguised as loss. The owl doesn't destroy, it discloses. Chosen one. When the owl comes into your atmosphere, something beneath the surface is stirring. It could be the truth about a person's intention, the reality behind a situation you've been uncertain about, or the unveiling of a path you were meant to take. Its call may sound haunting, but it is heaven's way of saying, you've prayed for clarity, now brace for it. And here is the paradox of revelation: it doesn't always arrive with celebration. Sometimes it comes through discomfort. Sometimes the light exposes more than you expected. Yet even this is grace. Because as long as deception hides, destiny cannot move forward. The owl appears not to frighten you, but to free you. Chosen one. Understand this: revelation doesn't destroy the righteous, it defines them. When God brings truth to the surface, it's not to humiliate you, but to elevate you. The owl is heaven's lantern in the dark. It shows you what's real, so that your next steps can be taken in strength, not naivety. You cannot carry divine power while walking in delusion. So when you hear the owl's cry in the night, don't shrink back in fear. Lean in with reverence. Listen. Something you've been questioning is about to be answered, not through chaos, but through exposure. The people who were pretending, the opportunities that were draining you, the habits that kept you small, all will be revealed for what they are. The owl teaches you to be still when others panic, to wait while others react. It is the embodiment of wisdom, the fulfillment of that ancient truth: be still and know that I am God. Stillness is not inaction. It is spiritual posture. It is the place where clarity finds you. Anointed one. Your night season is not a curse. It is classroom and calling. The reason you feel separated from the crowd is because heaven has dimmed the lights around you, so your inner sight can sharpen. God hides you to train your hearing, to tune your eyes to spiritual wavelengths that most ignore. When the owl appears, don't resist the solitude. Don't curse the silence. Sit within it. Let it speak. You will discover that what seemed empty was actually full of divine counsel, full of supernatural direction. Heaven doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through the rustling wings of an owl passing by. Chosen. 1. The night is not your enemy. It's your initiation. Learn from the owl to rule the dark with peace, to walk through uncertainty with sight. Because when you stop fearing the shadows begin to serve your revelation. And soon you will wake not confused, but crowned, seeing clearly, walking wisely, and carrying the fire of divine understanding wherever you go. Chosen one. The fourth messenger is the serpent, the most misunderstood of all God's creatures. It doesn't come to curse you, it comes to confront you. It doesn't appear to destroy, it arrives to discern. In the spiritual realm, the serpent is both a warning and a mirror. It reflects what you have outgrown and what still tries to tempt you. When the serpent slithers across your path in life, in dreams, or in sudden thought, it is not random. Heaven is saying, "Be alert, my anointed." Something or someone is not as it seems. The serpent moves silently, slowly, waiting for the moment you stop paying attention. That is why the chosen must remain awake, because deception rarely screams. It whispers. There was a time I ignored this lesson. I felt uneasy about a situation that looked perfect, a job that seemed divine, a friendship that appeared loyal. Yet my peace began to waver, though nothing looked wrong on the surface. I brushed it off as fear, but within weeks everything collapsed. I realized then that God had sent the serpent early, not as a threat, but as a teacher. Chosen one. The serpent exposes the difference between temptation and timing. It teaches that not every opportunity that glitters is gold. Some doors open too easily because they are traps disguised as blessings. Some smiles shine too brightly because they're meant to blind your discernment. The serpent appears to strip the illusion before it swallows you. But here is the mystery. The serpent doesn't only come to reveal deception around you, it comes to expose deception within you. The lies you tell yourself to stay comfortable, the habits that you defend but secretly know are holding you back. The versions of you that can't survive in the new level God is preparing. The serpent whispers, "Shed what no longer fits." Anointed one, every elevation requires shedding. Just as the serpent must release old skin to grow, you must release old identities, old fears, old attachments that suffocate your spirit. The process is uncomfortable, but it is sacred. The shedding feels like loss, but it's actually liberation. Remember this, the same symbol that once represented deception in Eden became a symbol of healing in the wilderness when Moses lifted up the bronze serpent. That is divine irony, proof that even what once wounded can become what restores. Your encounters with the serpent, whether through struggle or awakening, are not meant to destroy your faith, but to refine it. Chosen one. This messenger teaches spiritual vigilance. It urges you to test every spirit, to discern every invitation, to pause before you commit. When you feel that strange unease before making a choice, don't silence it. That is heaven warning you through your own intuition, a sacred alert system inside your spirit. The serpent is not always external. Sometimes it is the old mindset trying to pull you back into fear, the voice that says you're not enough, the urge to shrink just as you're about to step forward. When the serpent appears in your dream or your life, ask, Lord, what are you showing me? You'll find that the moment of confrontation is also the moment of transformation. Anointed one, don't panic when the serpent crosses your path. Perceive, don't curse it, decode it, because the serpent comes before the shift. It slithers through your awareness not to harm, but to prepare. It warns that the next level is close, but so is the test. Every chosen soul must pass through this stage to discern truth from deception, purpose from distraction, spirit from ego. Once you pass it, you will emerge stronger, purer, unstoppable. The very sign that once terrified you becomes the signal of your next breakthrough. So when you sense the serpent near in vision, dream, or energy, stand still. Don't move in fear. Move in faith. Heaven is saying something false is fading, something true is rising. You are being purified for your purpose, and soon the skin of the old you will fall away, revealing a warrior clothed in wisdom and walking in light. Chosen one. The fifth messenger is the cat, a creature often misunderstood yet deeply sacred in its spiritual purpose. To the ordinary eye, it is quiet, independent, mysterious. But to those who walk in divine awareness, the cat is a living sensor of energy, a guardian stationed by heaven to patrol the unseen. It sees beyond faces, beyond gestures, beyond light itself. When a cat suddenly crosses your path, pauses and looks directly into your eyes, the world seems to slow down. That is not random. Heaven is calling for your attention. The cat is not simply curious, it is communicating. It appears to signal that something in your atmosphere has shifted, a vibration, an emotion, or an unseen presence that your spirit must discern. Anointed one, light attracts both admiration and resistance. The brighter your spirit burns, the more both angels and shadows notice it. The cat stands between those two currents. It moves gracefully in silence, but its silence speaks loudly. When a cat appears repeatedly near your door, outside your window, following you for no reason, heaven is saying, guard your light. There was a season when I ignored this kind of sign. I was surrounded by people who seemed supportive, but carried hidden envy. My peace felt fragile. My focus scattered. One afternoon, a stray cat began appearing near my gate, same time, same place. It would sit there silently staring toward my house. At first, I dismissed it, but something in me stirred. I prayed, and within days a truth surfaced, a conversation spoken behind my back, energy sent against my peace. I learned that not all warfare is loud. Some attacks arrive as thoughts, comparisons, jealousy. The cat felt it before I did. Chosen one, when the cat behaves strangely, circling you, hissing into emptiness, following invisible movement, it's not superstition, it's synchronization. Heaven is using creation to echo the warning already stirring in your spirit. It's a message wrapped in stillness. Cleanse your space. Reclaim your atmosphere. The cat teaches you the sacred discipline of protection, not through fear, but through awareness. It reminds you that holiness must be defended. The anointing you carry draws many eyes, some to bless, others to drain. The cat doesn't judge those eyes. It reveals them. Its gaze pierces layers of deception to show what peace can't coexist with. So when one appears, pay attention to your surroundings. Have you been feeling tired without cause, drained after certain conversations, restless in your own home? The cat's sudden presence may be heaven's confirmation that your environment needs purification. pray. Play worship softly in the background. Speak peace aloud. Command the atmosphere to align with heaven's order. And understand this, the cat's role is not to bring fear, but focus. It reminds you to tend to your temple, to guard your energy as sacred currency. Not everyone who smiles is celebrating your shine. Not everyone who claps is applauding your calling. Some are watching with curiosity, others with covetousness. The cat stands between those energies as heaven's sentinel. Anointed one, learn from its stillness. It doesn't chase noise, it observes it. It doesn't panic, it perceives. When chaos stirs, it remains calm until the right moment to act. That is divine discernment in motion. The cat moves like wisdom, quiet, poised, accurate. You are being called to do the same. If you find a cat resting near your feet, it is grounding you. If it refuses to leave your side, it is absorbing heaviness so you can stay clear. Even creation recognizes your calling. The world may call it animal instinct. Heaven calls it covenant. So, chosen one, when this messenger appears again, whether in waking life or dream, don't dismiss it. Let it remind you your light is holy, your peace is sacred, your energy must be protected. Thank God for the warning. You are not being haunted. You are being honored. Heaven trusts you enough to keep you aware. For those who walk in divine calling, even silence becomes a shield. The cat's watchful eyes confirm one thing: the light in you is active, alive, and heaven will guard it through every means necessary, even through a quiet creature that sees what others cannot. Chosen. 1 the 6th. Messenger gallops not in stillness, but in sacred urgency, the horse. It comes when your season of waiting is ending, when heaven is stirring the atmosphere with divine momentum. You may feel it already, the pressure in your chest, the restlessness in your soul, the sense that where you are no longer fits who you are becoming. That is not confusion, anointed one. That is movement. The horse symbolizes divine transition, the bridge between old ground and new glory. It appears when God is preparing you to move swiftly, to leave behind the safety of stillness and step into the unknown. Its energy is holy acceleration. Where the cat guarded stillness, the horse commands movement. When it shows up in dreams, visions, or even crosses your path in life, it carries this message. Your season of standing still has served its purpose. Now it's time to ride. There was a time when I felt trapped in the same cycle, praying, preparing, but seeing no progress. I begged heaven for a sign. Days later, I began seeing horses everywhere, murals, dreams, even random images scrolling through my feed. I didn't understand it at first, but then came the stirring divine agitation, the call to act. Within weeks, what had been delayed for years began to open. The horse had arrived to announce that the gates of destiny were ready. Chosen one. The horse doesn't visit those who wish to stay comfortable. It comes to those chosen for conquest. Its hooves strike the earth as heaven's rhythm of readiness. When you feel a pull toward change, a job, a move, a relationship, a new calling, don't dismiss it as restlessness. It's heaven positioning your next step. The horse carries revelation that your timeline has shifted. God is shaking what has become too safe, too small, too silent. The horse's energy enters your life to dismantle stagnation and ignite courage. It pawns the ground, not in rebellion, but in prophecy. It's the echo of Isaiah's truth, that those who wait upon the Lord shall run, and not be weary, walk, and not faint. Your waiting was not wasted. It was warming up your strength for the sprint ahead. Anointed one, faith is movement. Belief is not stillness, it's motion aligned with trust. The horse reminds you that obedience often looks like acceleration. The Spirit of God does not always whisper, "Be still." Sometimes he thunders, "Go now." And when that command comes, everything you've been praying for will require your participation. Doors will not simply open, you will ride through them. When the horse appears, it's heaven urging, do not let fear interpret what faith has already confirmed. You've prayed for clarity. Now, clarity demands courage. Every shake in your life is not destruction, it's divine ignition. The storm under your feet is not punishment, it's propulsion. There's beauty in the horse's wildness. It cannot be tamed because destiny cannot be delayed. When your spirit begins to feel that same wild faith rising, the kind that no longer asks how, only when know this heaven has placed the wind at your back, the very resistance you once feared will now become the force that carries you forward. I've learned that the horse doesn't gallop toward comfort, only calling. And it always appears before a great unveiling, when your voice must rise, when your gifts must go public, when your next season demands boldness instead of blending. Chosen one, mount up. The ride ahead will be fast, but it will be faithful. The path will not always look smooth, but it is secure. Every shake, every shift, every sudden change is heaven realigning your path with purpose. So if lately you've felt unsettled, unable to rest, like something is pressing you forward, don't mistake it for anxiety. It is destiny galloping toward you. The horse has come to awaken your courage, to remind you that faith was never meant to walk, it was born to run. Chosen one. The seventh and final messenger is not one creature, but many, the disordered flock. It is the sign of turbulence, the prophecy written in the sky. When you look up and see a group of birds, usually graceful and aligned, suddenly breaking formation, circling, scattering, moving without pattern, understand, this heaven is speaking. Something in the unseen realm is shifting, and you have been chosen to perceive it. Birds are atmospheric interpreters. They respond to vibrations long before the human ear detects sound. When their harmony breaks, it mirrors a spiritual disturbance, a clash between what is being dismantled and what is being revealed. The disordered flock is not a sign of chaos. It is a mirror of transition. God is allowing you to see external disorder, so you will recognize internal alignment. Anointed one. Remember, storms do not start on the ground. They begin in the air, in the spiritual climate. When heaven prepares to rearrange something in your life, the atmosphere trembles first. Relationships become strained. Plans begin to shift. Things that were once steady start to shake. It's not punishment, it's prophecy. You are standing in the eye of divine reordering. There was a season in my life when everything around me seemed to collapse at once. Friendships fell apart, finances became uncertain, opportunities dissolved overnight. I thought I had failed. But one morning, as I watched a flock of birds scatter wildly above the trees, I heard the Spirit whisper, "This is not destruction, this is rearrangement." Within months, everything I lost was replaced with what was truly aligned for my destiny. That moment taught me that divine order often begins as visible chaos. Chosen one. When you see the birds moving without rhythm, heaven is warning, be still, but stay aware. The world will interpret the shaking as disaster. The awakened will interpret it as deliverance. This is your reminder not to mirror the panic of others. While others scatter, you must anchor. Anchor yourself in faith. Anchor yourself in prayer. Anchor yourself in the knowing that even in disorder, heaven's choreography is perfect. The same wind that scatters the birds will soon settle them into new alignment. What feels like loss is actually the clearing of spiritual air. You are not being punished, you are being repositioned. The disordered flock is heaven's way of training your eyes to see revelation inside disruption. It's telling you that the shaking is temporary, but the realignment is eternal. Anointed one, when everything begins to shift, resist the urge to control. Don't force order where God is building something new. Instead, observe, breathe, trust. The same spirit that moves the wind moves your destiny. Your job is not to fix the chaos. It's to stay centered until it reveals its meaning. Even the sky obeys divine timing. The birds do not scatter forever. They will regroup. They will find their rhythm again, and so will you. The moment you stop panicking, you begin partnering with heaven. The confusion that once surrounded you becomes revelation within you. You'll realize that what felt like collapse was divine cleansing, removing what cannot travel with you into the next season. The disordered flock teaches a sacred principle. Not all shaking is danger. Some shaking is deliverance. Some storms are heaven's broom sweeping away the residue of what's expired. And, when the sky quiets again, you'll see the purpose of the noise. The confusion you feared will form clarity. So, when the next storm rises in your relationships, in your finances, in your emotions, do not fear the scattering. Speak this truth aloud: I am centered in the storm. Because peace isn't found in calm weather. Peace is the calm inside you that outlasts the weather. Chosen one. This is heaven's final signal, the visible manifestation of invisible order. You were never in danger. You were being prepared for peace. The same wind that broke your patterns is the wind that will carry you into promise. What looked like chaos was choreography all along. Chosen one, now that the 7 messengers have spoken, the raven, the dog, the owl, the serpent, the cat, the horse, and the disordered flock, it is time to see the pattern behind them. Heaven never works in isolation. It weaves meaning through repetition, through convergence. Each creature you've learned about is not a separate sign, but a piece of a divine code, a language God has written across creation to guard His chosen and guide their next assignment. The moment you begin to perceive these signs together, your awareness expands. The raven awakens your discernment. The dog affirms your protection. The owl brings revelation. The serpent calls for refinement. The cat guards your energy. The horse stirs your movement. The flock signals atmospheric shift. Together they form a circle, a complete system of heavenly communication designed to keep you one step ahead of danger and one breath away from divine direction. Anointed one, you were never meant to live blind. Heaven has always surrounded you with living metaphors echoing through sound, sight, and silence. The problem is not that God stopped speaking, it's that people stopped listening. But you are being reawakened. You may not have realized it, but every strange occurrence, every repeated encounter, every animal that seemed to lock eyes with you or move differently in your presence was not coincidence. It was alignment. Heaven was intersecting your timeline, gently saying, I am near. Pay attention. I remember a moment when all these signs collided in my own life. I was at a crossroads, uncertain about whether to leave a familiar place or step into the unknown. That week, a raven landed outside my window. The next day, my dog barked endlessly at an empty space near the door. 2 nights later, an owl called in the dark while I prayed for clarity. I knew then heaven was surrounding me with confirmation. Within days, I received an opportunity I hadn't even sought, the exact door God had prepared. Chosen one. That's how heaven speaks when it's urgent, not through thunder but through patterns. When multiple signs appear close together, pay attention. The convergence means your kairos moment, your divinely appointed time, is near. Each messenger aligns like a note in a celestial symphony, harmonizing to guide you toward purpose. Do not fear these encounters. Welcome them. They are not random interruptions, but divine intersections. Heaven is not trying to scare you, it's trying to synchronize you. The awareness rising in your spirit is not paranoia, it's prophecy unfolding through your perception. And understand this, the more you grow in awareness, the more refined the signals will become. At first, they will be obvious, a raven in your path, a dog howling into silence. Later, they will come as subtler nudges, a feeling, a shift, a word spoken through someone unaware they're being used. The goal is not to depend on signs, but to develop sensitivity. Heaven uses creation to train your discernment until you no longer need visible proof to trust invisible instruction. Anointed One. This is where maturity begins, when you realize that the same spirit that moves through these creatures is the spirit that moves in you. You are not separate from creation, you are part of its harmony. You were designed to sense what the world overlooks, to feel heaven's frequency, even when the noise of life grows loud. So when the raven comes again, when the dog stirs, when the owl calls, when the serpent appears, when the cat watches, when the horse moves, when the flock scatters, don't panic. Pause. Heaven is rehearsing your readiness. These are not omens of fear. They are confirmations of faith. And now, chosen one, as you begin to connect these messages, something powerful will awaken in you, a new way of walking, seeing, and discerning. You are not being haunted by signs. You are being invited into mastery, the ability to interpret heaven's whispers written in the language of creation. This is divine intelligence. This is spiritual partnership. This is awareness awakening into purpose. You are not just hearing about the signs. You are now one of them, a living message of what it means to walk protected, aligned, and chosen. Chosen One. Now that you've seen the pattern, the way heaven speaks through its messengers, the next revelation is this: you are being trained to understand the language of heaven. Every sign, every sound, every stirring in your spirit has been teaching you fluency in divine communication. You are no longer someone who simply witnesses, you are someone who interprets. Heaven speaks to you through alignment, not accident. When you start noticing patterns that others ignore, you are stepping into your prophetic sensitivity. That sensitivity is not a burden, it's an inheritance. It's the mark of those set apart, those who carry both authority and awareness. The more attuned you become, the more heaven entrusts to you. Anointed One, think back on your recent days. How many times did your peace suddenly shift without a reason? How many moments did your spirit grow quiet while the world around you seemed normal? That wasn't anxiety. It was discernment. Heaven was adjusting your frequency, tuning you to the rhythm of revelation. The truth is, the world runs on distractions, but those who are chosen learn to live by direction. That's why your life has been different. You can no longer stay asleep while others drift. The spirit within you refuses to let you miss what heaven is manifesting. You may not have asked for this awareness, but heaven trusted you with it. There was a time I didn't understand this grace. I thought being sensitive to everything, energies, people changes was a weakness. I used to ask, Lord, why can't I just live without feeling everything so deeply? But the answer came softly one night, because I called you to see before the storm, not after it. Since then, I've learned that spiritual awareness is not heaviness, it's honor. It's heaven trusting you to carry alertness for yourself and others. Chosen one. This awareness is your armor. It's what keeps you from walking into traps unseen, from embracing people whose presence carries confusion. The more you listen, the stronger your protection becomes. Every whisper, every sign, every delay, it's all God speaking. When you live attuned to heaven, even the pauses in your path become prophecies. You may wonder, why does God use creation to speak when he could just speak audibly? Because creation moves without rebellion. It obeys instantly. The animals, the winds, the sky, they respond to his will before humans even recognize it. That's why God teaches his chosen through creation. First, it trains your spirit to discern obedience, precision, and timing. Anointed one. Heaven is not asking you to idolize the signs, only to recognize them. They are confirmations, not commandments. Their purpose is not to control your choices, but to guide your peace. The raven may warn you. The owl may illuminate truth. The horse may urge movement. Yet the voice behind them all is one, the still, sovereign voice of the Creator. And this is where your spiritual evolution begins. You no longer chase signs. Signs follow you, because awareness has become part of who you are. You are not merely observing heaven's rhythm, you're walking in sync with it. So when life feels uncertain again, when the air grows thick, when silence feels heavy, when familiar patterns return, remember what you've learned here. Creation is not against you, it's assisting you. It's heaven's way of saying, I'm closer than you think. Chosen one. As you grow in this awareness, expect clarity to become your companion. You'll start feeling peace where confusion once lived. You'll walk into rooms and sense truth before it's spoken. You'll know who is meant to go with you and who must stay behind. This isn't pride, it's prophetic precision. Heaven sharpens its soldiers through stillness and sight. From now on, everything you perceive will hold meaning, not because the world has changed, but because your eyes have. You have entered the frequency of divine understanding, so breathe, listen, watch. The same voice that speaks through the raven, the dog, the owl, and the wind now speaks within you. You are not merely interpreting heaven's signs anymore. You are one. Chosen one. Now that your eyes have opened, heaven is moving you from awareness into assignment. The ability to discern is not given for observation alone, it is preparation for purpose. Everything you've sensed, every sign that has crossed your path, every stirring that has woken you in the middle of the night has been part of a divine training. You were never just meant to see the signs. You were meant to become one, a living signal of God's movement on earth. Awareness without assignment is potential without direction. Heaven never awakens your spirit just to make you sensitive. It awakens you to make you strategic. You are being positioned to carry revelation into environments that have grown blind. You are the intercessor who feels the tremor before the quake, the voice that speaks peace before the panic. That is why you could never fit in with the crowd. You were built to stand before the storm. Anointed one, when heaven entrusts you with discernment, it also entrusts you with responsibility. To see spiritually is to carry the burden of insight. It means you must guard your words, protect your atmosphere, and move only when peace says go. You are no longer led by emotion or opportunity, you are led by instruction. Heaven's rhythm now guides your every step. There was a time when I mistook my awareness for anxiety. I would walk into rooms and feel heaviness without knowing why. I would meet people whose smiles hid storms. For years I tried to numb that sensitivity, thinking it made life easier. But God corrected me gently. You are not overwhelmed. You are equipped. From that day, everything changed. Instead of avoiding what I felt, I began interpreting it. And the moment I aligned my awareness with purpose, discernment became deliverance, not just for me, but for others around me. Chosen one, that is what's happening for you now. Heaven is upgrading your sensitivity into strategy. Every sign you've recognized, from the raven's warning to the horse's motion, is being woven into your mission. You're not merely learning spiritual signals. You're learning how to move in sync with them. This is divine coordination, when what you feel, see, and hear begin to confirm each other under heaven's timing. Understand this: when God gives you discernment, He is also giving you authority. The world misuses intuition as self-focus, but heaven refines discernment as stewardship. You have been entrusted to pray before danger strikes, to speak when silence becomes heavy, to prepare when others procrastinate. You were born to read the spiritual atmosphere and bring it back into alignment. That is the assignment of the chosen. Anointed One. This awareness is also meant to bless your daily life. It is not limited to visions and revelations. It shows up in decisions, in timing, in the subtle nudges that redirect your steps. When you listen, you will find yourself in divine appointments. You didn't plan meetings that shift your destiny, moments that feel like coincidences but are actually confirmations. When you honor what heaven shows you, heaven honors the work of your hands. That's why in this season, everything connected to your obedience will multiply. Opportunities will recognize you. People will seek your wisdom. Favor will follow your footsteps, because your awareness has aligned with heaven's agenda. But remember this truth: discernment without humility becomes pride, and pride disconnects you from the source. The same awareness that elevates you must also anchor you. Never forget that the power to perceive comes from the presence of God. Stay close to Him, and you will never misinterpret His signs. Chosen One. Your assignment is not to outshine others, it's to illuminate their path. The same light that revealed the truth to you now flows through you to reveal truth to the world. You are becoming a living prophecy, the evidence that heaven still speaks through humanity. So walk carefully, speak wisely, move intentionally. You are no longer merely hearing about the divine signs. You are walking as one. Every breath, every step, every decision carries heavenly weight. The world will not understand your awareness, but it will recognize your authority. Chosen One, with every layer of awareness comes a mantle, a sacred responsibility that cannot be taken lightly. You are not being awakened for curiosity's sake. You are being commissioned. The same spirit that revealed patterns through creation is now revealing purpose through you. What once looked like random insight is now becoming divine instruction. Heaven has trusted you with revelation, and revelation is not just information, it is transformation waiting for obedience. This is where many fall away. They receive glimpses of God's signs, but fail to apply them. They see patterns, yet remain passive. But you, Anointed One, are different. The moment you said, "I am listening," heaven wrote your name beside this assignment. You were never meant to be a spectator of the supernatural. You were meant to be a steward of it. There was a season when I didn't understand that. I was seeing too much feeling, too much sensing energies, faces, even motives before they were revealed. I prayed for God to quiet the noise, but instead He whispered, "You are not called to run from revelation. You are called to rule it." That changed everything. Awareness without authority leads to confusion, but awareness under the anointing leads to clarity. The mantle God places on your shoulders now is not one of fear, It's one of function. Anointed one. Heaven's signs are no longer only around you. They are flowing through you. You are becoming the vessel by which God sends warning, wisdom, and comfort to others. People will feel peace when you enter a room because your presence will carry order. Some will feel conviction, not because you judged them, but because the light within you exposes what's hidden. That's what happens when a chosen one begins to operate under their mantle. This mantle doesn't make you better. It makes you responsible. You will notice that God no longer allows you to ignore what you feel. When something is off, you'll sense it instantly. When a lie is near, your spirit will grow restless. When truth approaches, peace will fill the room before a word is even spoken. That's not emotional sensitivity, that's spiritual stewardship. Heaven is training you to become a gatekeeper for purity, discernment, and divine order. Chosen. One, understand this: with revelation comes refinement. You will find yourself pulled away from certain environments that once felt comfortable. It's not rejection, it's redirection. The more God reveals to you, the more He protects what He reveals through you. Some people will not understand the silence you carry. Others will mistake your solitude for pride. But don't explain your separation. Just know it's sacred. Heaven hides its instruments before it displays them. This new level of revelation will also demand rest. Spiritual sight is powerful, but draining if you don't anchor yourself in prayer. Even Jesus withdrew often to lonely places to commune with the Father. You must do the same. Your clarity will depend on your connection. The clearer the channel, the sharper the revelation. When confusion comes, retreat into worship. When noise rises, seek stillness. The world will keep moving, but revelation requires rhythm, divine pauses that reset your spiritual equilibrium. Anointed one, you are stepping into what I call prophetic rhythm. It's the flow of heaven's timing where your awareness aligns with divine opportunity. Doors will open in ways that defy logic. People will come seeking wisdom you didn't know you carried. And when you speak, your words will pierce through confusion, because they won't just come from thought, they'll come from revelation. But remember, revelation is not for display. It's for direction. Never use what God shows you for control or validation. Use it for intercession and restoration. Heaven doesn't reveal truth to shame, it reveals to redeem. That is the essence of your mantle, to see deeply, to act justly, and to love purely. Chosen one. You are no longer standing on the outskirts of mystery. You are walking within it, not as a wanderer, but as a witness. The world around you may grow darker, but you are being clothed in light. You have been chosen not just to perceive the signs of heaven, but to embody them, a walking testimony that God still speaks through those who listen. So wear this mantle with humility, but also with confidence. Heaven trusts you now. And when the next whisper, the next sign, the next stirring arrives, you won't just interpret it, you will become the message itself. Chosen one. This is where revelation turns into embodiment. You've been shown the patterns, the signs, the divine language of creation. Now heaven asks something greater become the message. For the chosen, awareness is not an accessory, it's identity. Every whisper from God, every symbol that appeared along your path was never meant to stay as theory. It was training, preparation for the day when your very life would echo heaven's truth. That day has come. Anointed one. Your life is no longer ordinary. You are walking scripture, living prophecy, breathing evidence of divine timing. Every place you step becomes instruction. People may not read the Bible, but they will read you. They will watch how you handle storms, how you forgive betrayal, how you remain peaceful when others panic. You are the sermon their souls have been waiting to hear. There was a time when I resisted this responsibility. I thought being chosen meant being celebrated, not scrutinized. But heaven revealed something sacred. Visibility is vulnerability. When you carry light, darkness studies you. That is why so many attacks came when you started awakening. The enemy is not threatened by your possessions. He fears your perception. He knows that once you recognize heaven's movement, you become unstoppable. Chosen. 1. You are no longer just interpreting signs, you are now a sign. Your endurance is evidence. Your transformation is testimony. Every time you choose peace over panic, forgiveness over bitterness, truth over appearance, heaven broadcasts through you. You are heaven's channel in human form, a vessel that turns silence into signal. This new season will test your spiritual maturity. People will misread your stillness, confuse your discernment for distance, and question your decisions. Don't explain yourself. Alignment rarely makes sense to those not in rhythm with it. You are moving with divine precision now. Every delay, every redirection, every unseen no is being orchestrated from above. The key is to stay faithful even when you don't feel understood. Anointed One. This is the secret. God doesn't just call you to recognize patterns, He calls you to become one. Your daily obedience, your integrity in hidden places, your compassion toward the broken, these are not small acts. They are heavenly coordinates marking you as a beacon of light in dark times. You carry signals that awaken others. When they encounter you, their spirits stir without knowing why. That's because heaven recognizes its own reflection within you. Do not underestimate the power of your presence. When you walk into a room, the spiritual temperature shifts. When you speak truth, atmospheres recalibrate. When you choose righteousness over revenge, chains break not just for you, but for those watching silently, waiting for proof that holiness still has power. You are that proof. There will be days when you feel weary, moments when your discernment feels heavy. But remember this, even the signal needs silence to stay clear. Rest is not retreat, it's recharge. The same God who called you to carry light also calls you to sit in it. Protect your stillness. It is your sanctuary. Chosen, one heaven is writing through your life now. You have become the convergence of word and witness. The signs no longer live outside of you. They breathe within you. You are the living embodiment of divine awareness, calm in chaos, firm in faith, radiant in restraint. You no longer chase messages. You are one. Walk boldly but humbly. Speak slowly but with conviction. Move carefully but with confidence. Because every moment you live awake, heaven broadcasts through you, whispering to others the same truth that awakened you. God is still speaking, and His chosen ones are listening. Chosen one, when heaven awakens you, it doesn't leave you the same. You can't return to blindness once your eyes have been opened. Awareness changes everything: how you speak, how you move, what you tolerate, what you release. You begin to live from revelation instead of reaction. And this anointed one is the true proof of divine transformation. Transformation isn't just about what happens to you, it's about what begins to happen through you. Heaven's purpose has always been more than your survival, it's your transfiguration. God never calls His chosen simply to endure darkness, but to illuminate it. Every trial you faced, every loss you've endured, every shift that once felt cruel was actually carving your new form, shaping you into someone who can carry glory without arrogance and wisdom without fear. There was a time when I mistook my wilderness for punishment. I thought the silence meant I'd been forgotten, but it was in that silence that my spirit was rewritten. God stripped away my dependence on applause and replaced it with discernment. He removed people I thought were permanent so I could learn how to stand alone, not as a victim, but as a vessel. That's what transformation does. It redefines strength. Anointed One. Your transformation will not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like composure in chaos. Sometimes it looks like walking away without bitterness. Sometimes it's simply peace where there once was panic. Don't underestimate that quiet evolution that is heaven's finest work. You are not who you were. The evidence is in how quickly you forgive, how calmly you wait, how deeply you listen. You have graduated from reaction into revelation. Transformation also shifts your vision. You begin to recognize divine order inside what others call disorder. You stop calling delays denials and start seeing them as preparation. You no longer chase what's fading, you attract what's aligned. Even your prayers change less pleading, more partnering. You start praying not for escape, but for endurance, not for signs, but for strategy. That's how the mature chosen move not by impulse, but by insight. Chosen One. This is the part where heaven starts making sense. The same pain that once confused you becomes prophecy fulfilled. The people who left were necessary exits. The opportunities that closed were redirections. Every closed door was protection wearing disguise. God was never taking from you, He was tailoring you for what was coming. And now you stand at the threshold of manifestation. The anointing you carry has weight now. You have proven faithful in obscurity, and heaven rewards faithfulness with visibility, not for fame, but for function. You are about to be placed where your light will reach farther, where your words will heal more deeply, where your presence will awaken those still asleep. But remember this, Anointed One transformation doesn't end with arrival. It continues through obedience. Every new level demands new surrender. To maintain what heaven gives you, must keep your spirit uncluttered. Don't allow old wounds to re-enter your new world. Don't explain your peace to people who profit from chaos. Walk forward with gratitude and guarded grace. This is the mark of the truly transformed humility wrapped in authority. You no longer need to announce your growth. It announces itself. You don't seek validation from crowds. You seek confirmation from heaven. You understand that the greatest miracle is not what you gain, but who you become. Chosen One, look at yourself, your endurance, your discernment, your peace. You are the living proof that God's refining fire never consumes. It purifies. You've been tested, trimmed, and trusted. You no longer just talk about transformation, you embody it. And from this moment forward, your life will speak louder than any sermon ever could. Chosen One. This is the hour when everything you have learned, endured, and discerned begins to merge into one living truth. You were never just being prepared for revelation. You were being prepared for reign. The signs, the silence, the shaking, the symbols, all of it has been a divine rehearsal for your awakening. You have crossed from observation into embodiment, from seeing God's hand to becoming the vessel that carries it. This is what it means to walk as one awakened. You don't just interpret seasons, you synchronize with them. You don't just receive instruction, you move prophetically through it. Every breath becomes worship. Every decision becomes ministry. You begin to sense heaven's rhythm in your pulse and feel divine timing in your steps. That is alignment, not luck, not coincidence but oneness between your spirit and the spirit that sent you here. Anointed One. This alignment will now pull you into divine appointments. The same awareness that once made you feel isolated will now make you magnetic. People will be drawn to your peace without understanding it. Opportunities will begin to locate you. The favor that was once hidden will find you openly, because now heaven can trust you with visibility. You've been proven in silence, refined in solitude, humbled in obscurity, and those who are faithful unseen are always the first to be revealed when heaven opens a new chapter. There was a time when you questioned the waiting, when you thought the stillness meant nothing was happening. But now you see, the waiting was working. Heaven was building endurance, shaping discernment, teaching you how to recognize destiny, even when it's disguised as disruption. You were learning to listen deeper than sound, to perceive God's whispers. In movement, animals, numbers, dreams, and moments that seemed small. That training has matured your sight. You no longer need chaos to prove change. Peace is your confirmation now. Chosen One, walking as awakened, means you move without fear. You are no longer trying to control outcomes. You are guided by obedience. You've learned that divine timing never fails, and that delays are simply divine recalibrations. The more you trust, the more aligned your reality becomes. This is your Kairos hour, the appointed moment when heaven's calendar meets your readiness. From here, life will not be easier, but it will be clearer. You will see divine purpose behind interruptions. You will sense spiritual warfare before it manifests. You will move from confusion into command, not by human strength, but by divine awareness. You will understand what Jesus meant when he said, "My sheep hear my voice," because your hearing has become holy, anointed. 1. Everything around you will begin to reflect this awakening. Creation will feel alive again. The winds will feel like whispers. Numbers will appear as confirmations. Encounters will become clues. The entire universe will begin to mirror your awareness because heaven always responds to recognition. You've learned to notice, and that noticing has opened portals of favor, clarity, and protection. But remember this truth: awareness is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of responsibility. To walk awakened means to walk anchored. You must remain rooted in humility, grounded in gratitude, steady in service. For those who see deeply are called to love deeply. God will use your sight not just for safety, but for service, to intercede for others, to speak life where fear dwells, to discern what others can't detect. Chosen One. This is your divine graduation. You've been tested in discernment, purified by solitude, instructed by creation, and transformed by revelation. You now stand as a bridge between heaven and earth, a walking signal of divine alignment. Your presence itself becomes prophecy. When you enter a room, the spiritual climate shifts. When you pray, heaven leans closer. When you act, the unseen responds. This is what it means to be truly awakened, to walk through the world with eyes open and hearts surrendered to discern both danger and destiny, and know that both bow to the same God. You no longer live from fear of what's coming, but faith in who walks with you. Every messenger that once warned you, the raven, the dog, the owl, the serpent, the cat, the horse, the flock, now lives within your awareness as facets of wisdom. You carry their lessons. You embody their watchfulness. You are no longer waiting for the signs, you are the sign. Anointed One, lift your head. The storm that once tested you has cleared, and revelation stands radiant. The earth recognizes you now. Heaven has confirmed you. You are seen, sealed, and sent. Walk forward with reverence, power, and peace. You are aligned, awakened, and chosen forever. A chosen one. Heaven has spoken, and creation has confirmed it. You are standing in your kairos moment, the divine intersection where awareness becomes authority. The signs around you are no longer warnings. They are invitations into wisdom. Walk with confidence, for the same spirit that speaks through creation now moves within you. Stay aligned, stay awake, stay faithful. And if this word found your spirit, share it, declare it, and let heaven know you have heard and you believe.